Hello. So this video is to kind of showcase a new blaster that I made, and it is an ice fire blaster. And so this is the build that I came up with on mids, and so I'll kind of explain it as well. So pretty much in this build, because you are a blaster, you want to be able to have at least 45% defense for fire and upwards 70% fire resistance for fire farms. And so this ice fire blaster is for fire farming. I usually have two other accounts that follow me in terms of if I want to run a farm. But if you wanted to just, join some random person's farm and be able to provide damage, this is a really good build for that as well. And so going on to the build, pretty much you want to have all of your winter sets. I believe there are 4 winter sets. For Bitter Ice Blast, this is just a single target ranged attack, so you put a 6 set of winter sets in there. Blizzard, this is I believe, some type of AoE. I think it's ranged AoE. Yeah, it's ranged AoE. Put this in there. This is PB AoE winter set. This is the single target melee damage winter set. And so all this kind of like adds together, right? And so you also want to get Aegis, Aegis, whatever. I usually 5 slot that. And I also put 3 slots into tough. Another way you can get your fire resistance up is if you want to put purple sets into your build. And so let's see, 1, 2, no, that's ATO, 2. So I have 3 purple sets in this blaster currently. And so if you read the set bonuses, it'll provide, I believe, 6% fire resistance for each set. So that's 18% right there. And it usually adds recharge time, which is really good for a blaster. And so everything else is kind of whatever. I put reactive defense into this as well. And then scaling damage resistance, that's another one that's huge. This pretty much gives you, let's see, if I take this out. So it gives a good amount of resistance just by putting that in, honestly. I don't know, like maybe a couple, 3%. 3% is better than nothing, so. After that, every time I build a blaster, I want to be able to proc out at least one attack. And so with this build, I was able to proc out Fire Sword Circle, which is like part of my attack chain when using this blaster, right? And so I was able to also put in a chance for resistance proc in Hot Feet, which is always on, and so that might hit them as well. And so, yeah, this is kind of a brief explanation of what I put into my fire farming blasters. Yeah, so let's give it a test. Alright, so I have my team. I have my blaster. It's the guy in the middle. I have my Firekin Corruptor to provide my team with more damage. And also to nuke the groups. And then I have Dr. Nuts, which actually, this guy is a Biorad tank. And so a friend of mine actually sent me a build for a Biorad tank and said it's just fucking awesome. And so I had to make one myself. And once I made it and I seen what I could do, I'm pretty fucking sold on Biorad tanks, to be honest. very good AFK farmers, and they also, in terms of following a team, they provide minus res to all the enemies, and so you can have both of the AoE auras kind of like procced out, plus that minus res aura, and then you can add minus res procs into all of your AoEs and PP AoE auras. It adds up, and so what I was able to find was this shaved off a lot of time in doing um, farming Carnival actually, and so previously I was able to do Carnival in like 24 to 25 minutes. With this tanker alone, with Atom Smasher on auto, I was able to shave that down to like 19 to 20 minutes with usually a good blaster, and so farming is a lot more fun with this guy right here. But this video is about Dr. Deed, the blaster. Following is Dr. D's and Dr. Nuts. Oops. Chat. So, again, I'll pretty much have this guy following. I'll put up my incarnates, buffs, I'll add my pets, I'll put Atom Smasher on auto, and just have him following. I'll go to my kin, follow, I'll put Fulcrum Shift on auto, Hasten, Speed Boost, Melee, Ageless, I'll just throw a pet in there for shits and gigs. And now, see if they're following. They are following. I'll buff myself up, and I'm ready to go. Again, just grabbing a couple groups. Sometimes I get stuck, but that's fine. So with this guy, Ice, it's there's a lot of location set type of powers, and so what I like to do is create a macro to summon all my shit just on myself, and so it just creates a location AoE power into a PB AoE essentially, and so as you can see, Blizzard does a lot of damage. It's a very good power. And the recharge is not too bad, it looks like, and so. With the Bio-Rad tank following, the difference between a brute and a tank is that their AoEs, for brutes, their AoEs can only hit 10 targets, whereas with a tank, they can hit up to 16 targets, and so if you do the math, like, and you throw a brute into an AFK farm, you know, it only hits 10 targets at a time. Whereas if a tanker is doing 10 targets at a time, it essentially completes an AFK farm a lot faster, right? And so having the minus res as well with the Fulcrum Shift, you'll kind of just see that groups are melting at a very, very rapid rate. I got a purple, cool. And as of right now, January 30th, 2024, there is double experience on Indomitable, and so if you go to the pay to win vendor and you also add that experience boost to that, it's 3 times experience, and so you'll be able to get a lot of shit done. A friend and I were able to level someone up from 1 to 50 in about an hour and a half, so I'll just do this last group and that's pretty much it. Oops. I kind of alt-tab to my corruptor to also give my blaster speed boost and also ageless, and then I'll go back to my blaster and I'll do ageless again, so there's even more recharge. And so it works out pretty well. Like I can pretty much just like run a farm by myself, which is really nice. Not not relying on a random team of quote unquote hitters joining your team and just dying all the time, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Um, I really like making farming blasters, and yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thank you.